I'm sure we've all heard about niches. You have to niche down, you gotta find your niche. The riches are in the niches. But just because someone says that over and over and over again doesn't make it any easier to understand or to do. Choosing a niche can be tricky for some of us. In this video, I'm gonna share with you a framework that I think will help give you a fresh perspective when choosing one's niche. Let's start the action. Hey crew, welcome back. Itah here. If this is our first time meeting, I'm a video producer, a contract creative, and this channel is all about the tools and strategies I use to run my video production business. A few years ago, I attended a webinar about how to attract new clients, and naturally the topic of niching down came up. The presenter asked us to drop what we did in the chat, and as he was reading over the responses, he came across mine and he said, "Oh, video production. Itah, okay, so you could be the video production guy for dentists." Ew. Ew. I responded by saying that I really don't care about that industry, or any specific industry, honestly. Seth Godin is one of my marketing mentors, and he talks about the bell curve and how it's melting. You'll never be able to compete on price, and the only way to stand out is to be the only one. To make stuff for the smallest viable audience. Not the smallest audience, but the smallest audience you can live with. Zig Ziglar was a famous motivational speaker, and he used to say, do you want to be a wandering generality or a meaningful specific? Okay, now I don't want to belabor the point. I get that niching down is important. It's just that it's rare that anyone explains the best ways to do that. A niche is defined as a specialized segment of the market for a particular kind of product or service. Cool. I think the challenge for me as a video creator and for any commercial creative is the sense that our work is so ubiquitous. It's so universally needed. It just feels awkward to say, I just do this one thing for just these people. I always wonder, would they give the same advice to a printer? Would they say that a printer should only print business cards for a dentist? I also think one of the fears in picking a niche is this idea that you'd be stuck in this one thing forever. The good news is that ain't so. So if you've been stuck trying to choose a niche like I was, here's a framework that I think will help. YouTube influencer Sean Cannell defines a niche on YouTube as your topic plus your audience. Your topic is what you're talking about, and your audience is who you're talking to. And by adjusting either of those two variables, you can find a very different niche. We can apply that same logic to commercial filmmaking. In this case, your topic is your style, and your audience is your potential clients. Let's start with your style. What kind of videos do you like to make? Yes, I know you can probably make any kind of video there is, but what's your preferred style? The Coen brothers have a style, Tarantino has a style, Picasso had a style, and you have a style. Or at the very least, you're developing one. So what is it? By setting a specific style, you're setting yourself up to make sure that you're doing the kind of work that you like to work on. There's nothing worse than getting stuck on a project that doesn't inspire you. So is it high energy and frenetic, dark and moody, or heartwarming and funny? In that webinar chat where I said I didn't really care about a specific industry, I told the host that what I care about is the characters. A good story with interesting characters. That's when I realized that character-driven storytelling is my style. Now that you have your style laid out, we want to match it to your audience. And when we're talking about an audience in this context, that should be thought of as the industry vertical. A vertical can be anything. It can be real estate agents, it can be yoga, it can be dentists. I keep coming back to dentists. Ask yourself what industry lends itself to my unique style. If your style's high energy, maybe it's sports. Maybe that's the vertical you want to look at. Or even more specific, extreme sports. Or maybe it's, I don't know, snowboarding. Or snowboarding dentists. For the record, I have nothing against snowboarding and I have nothing against dentists. If you're more into tugging at heartstrings, maybe it's healthcare or animal rescue or babies. Who doesn't love animals and babies? Hopefully you're getting the idea. You should try to pick an industry vertical that you understand reasonably well, but it's not important that you pick the right vertical right off the bat. I'll explain. But first, here's the question of the day. Given your style, what 3 verticals would work to define your niche? Leave me a note in the comments below. As you research your vertical, you're going to learn the language that they use. You're going to be developing marketing materials and collateral specific to that audience. But you're also developing a repeatable process. So that if at some point you want to change your niche, all you really need to do is change that audience. Some of the wording will change and things like that, but for the most part, most of your marketing material will remain the same, more or less. Once I made the mental shift that my style influenced my niche, it made it much easier to pivot. I've worked with nonprofits and software companies, which might not seem like a natural leap, but since the fundamental mission and their cultures were about the people they serve, my preferred style is driven by people, it was an easy shift. Anyway, I hope you got some value out of this. If so, take a hot second to hit that like button, and we will see you in the next video.